Okay, I should start the interview by saying thank you so much for finding the time to sit down and chat with me. I suppose we should start at the very beginning. So, where did your love of theatre begin?
Well, I was a really, really shy kid.
Mm,
Like, I barely spoke at all. But I did love theater. And there was something called Odyssey of the Mind, where kids would come together and make sketches. And a teacher told me I was really good of it. Good of it. Good at it. Good of it.
mm,
Good of it. Um, and that was really where it all started.
and that was that what sort of inspired you of improv?
That's such a great question. It's the like the core of
Mm,
everything. I think is just that like childhood building block of like,
hmm
oh, we can make a show together. Putting together props and writing it and performing it. Like it was, that was like fourth grade. Like I
mm.
learned that you could do that. So
And you can
definitely
make those
core.
ideas you have in your head actually sort of come to life on a stage.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. In some ways, I feel like I always knew I was an actor,
Mm,
but it was weird because I got in my own way. I was very
mm,
shy, so getting out of my own way was hard.
mm.
But then I had like teachers and stuff that helped.
Fantastic. And so, is those experiences sort of helped you get into writing as well and writing your own stuff? Is that what sort of triggered that journey?
Yeah, I mean, so I think that I was always writing. I was
Mm,
always writing. I went to a performing arts high school
hmm
where we did things like juries. Juries are when you go up and you perform your monologue in front of the entire acting theater
Wow.
faculty, and then they give you like evaluations for your
Mm.
work. And I think during the performing arts high school, I did try writing a play. It was very not good. But that's how you get like you
Yeah.
have to have things that are really embarrassing so you learn from them. So, and I definitely did that. And I think we also had like directing classes where we were directed by somebody that was taking their own work, and so that was all there. So definitely.
Mm. This is the teacher in me coming out a bit, but it's that thing of fail is the first attempt in learning. You have to bomb on stage. You have to do an awful show in order to start that journey. But obviously, those sort of mistakes weren't a big part of you because obviously you've grown and grown and grown to the point where you've written.
Citizen Otherplace, and that title is
Mm,
from there's a Sontag quote
hmm
where she talks about the difference about how we're all born
hmm
with two citizenships in the kingdom of the well and in the kingdom of the sick,
hmm
and although we only prefer to use the passport for that's good,
hmm
we are each obliged for at least a spell to use the other passport and be a citizen of the other place. So
mm.
it's like literally from that quote
Um,
that I got inspired by. But I kind of like Citizen Otherworld. So so let's just see what happens. But yeah, that's the inspiration for the title.
So where did the sort of story come from? How did you come up with what happens inside the show?
Oh my goodness. Well, I am a cancer
hmm
survivor. And I mean, I was navigating the medical care
hmm
program in the United States of America, and it's so hard. And I found it to be really lonely, but I also found what was sort of extraordinary about it was how common it was. Like
hmm
I say this, and I'm telling you, every time I will like share something, somebody will be able to yes and me, and they have their own personal
hmm
stories. It's everywhere, everything. It affects everyone, and I think when we only have stories in the media that are about the fatalities and
hmm
the dark, which is a huge part of it. It's huge. Um, the only way people can look at it is like with a lot of fear,
hmm
and I'm in comedy. Like I do groundlings
hmm
and stand up and character work, and you can't tell right now, but I'm funny. So it's like making it funny so it's more like easy
mm.
to like get down is like so was so important to me because of how I don't know how lonely it felt.
Mm.
So um one thing that I found really difficult was that it was like the night before a surgery, and I got a call from a I don't know, some person,
Mm.
and they're like, we'd like you to pay $1,000 right now. And I was like, oh, I haven't had the surgery yet.
Mm.
And they're like, "We like for you to pay now before the surgery."
Right.
Before the surgery,
Yeah.
they wanted me to pay the money. And it was just sort of like, okay, is it because in case I don't make it through the surgery? And it was so numbers. It was so numbers.
Mm.
And you receive these bills in the mail. The US medical stuff is really
Mm.
crazy. The medical bills don't really make sense. So I found it to be its own kind of villain
Mm-hmm.
and its own distraction. And that's why it's all personified with this villain character of Mike
Mm.
in the show. It's Mike, the medical debt hunter, who hunts her down, and it's very like action movie-esque.
Mm.
And it's really fun. It really is. Like, I don't know how I can convince you other than to see it, but it works. It does work.
Mm.
Yeah.
Obviously, and spoiler alert, but obviously you're heading to the Edinburgh Fringe, that we'll talk
Yes.
more in a bit. But obviously, taking a show that talks about the American healthcare system to a British audience, does that sort of add pressure to you or change the way you approach that audience?
Yes, absolutely. So the way the show starts is
Hmm.
that a hospital receptionist is checking people in. So the show is interactive in
Hmm.
a lot of ways. So it's checking the audience in, and as that character does this, she notices somebody with an accent. And
Okay.
whether that person really does have an accent or doesn't, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, you guys not from the United States of America." And then she breaks down how the medical health
Hmm.
system works in the US
Hmm.
because it's very different.
Hmm.
But what I think is a little there, I know there's talks in the UK
Hmm.
about shifting it, and that's why it's kind of an important thing
Hmm.
for I don't know, for the UK the audience to at least know about.
Hmm.
But when that character goes through what it's like, it clarifies for the audience.
Hmm.
And then there's also some more explanation throughout for clarity,
Hmm.
just so that we can all be on the same team
Hmm. Yeah.
on the show and know what the problem is. Or just not even necessarily the problem, but what the backdrop is, what the
Yeah.
given circumstances are for it.
Mm.
But yeah, I talked to a guy. I'm sure this is somebody that's very popular because he seems to be very open and speaks to a lot of people going to the Fringe. But a man named Frodo,
Mm.
I had like a Zoom with him, and I was asking him questions. He was really great, and I was saying like, well, what do you think? How about translating this to like a European audience? Like,
Mm.
what are people going? Or how much do I have to explain? And he said like, well, first of all, people are smart and they'll
Yeah.
get it, whatever. But then he told me that the thing that most mirrors our US, our United States healthcare system is the veterinarian care.
Yeah.
That when you go to the vet,
Hmm.
you might go out of pocket, you might have a copay or something like that.
Hmm.
And that I mean, that says it kind of all. Like it says everything. But I think there's a limit to what you guys pay for,
Hmm. Hmm.
veterinarian care. And we'll just
Mm.
you can spend millions.
Yeah, and obviously as a
Yeah.
British person, I've never had to experience the American healthcare system. Obviously, I've seen those, as you said, the statistics and the fatalities and the sort of parodies on TV and all those sorts of things. But I just can't imagine. I can't get my head around it,
It's very hard.
and
Well,
why
it's
we're thinking about adopting it. I'm like, why? We're doing
I just feel like
doing
listen,
right.
I grew up with a father who was a doctor, who
Okay.
is a doctor currently. And I had one perspective out of it. And then I was a broke actor and I started the system with very low health insurance. And I was
Mm.
able to upgrade my insurance at like the 11th hour, which is a whole other thing. I don't
Hmm.
even know how to begin to explain it, but there's a healthcare marketplace. And you can get
Wow.
in December, January. If you don't, whatever.
Mm.
Before Obama, please, I'm probably butchering all this, but before Obama, you could, if you had a pre-existing condition,
Hmm.
anything, anything that, an insurance company could, I believe, either reject you for a pre-existing condition, charge you more or something.
Hmm.
I don't know. There's still ways around it, and I really should look on that specificity. But now, like as long as you're covered, you continue to be covered.
Mm.
There's loopholes. Every
Wow.
state is different. I don't know. It's complicated. I'm even
Oh.
having trouble explaining it right now. That's how complicated it is. I'm getting it wrong as I'm speaking because they make it confusing on purpose.
Mhm.
So I upgraded my healthcare uh, at the 11th hour. So I was a child of a doctor. I had the worst insurance imaginable. I got a decent insurance. I went around to different medical facilities
Mm.
that serve different communities. So I have a really broad perspective on
Mm.
what I think the healthcare system is right now.
Mm. And obviously, so what made you go, right, this needs to be a play, this needs to be written down and shared with people?
Well, so Groundling, do you know what Groundlings Theater is? It's
I was going to say when you mentioned it earlier, it seems to be popping up in a lot of TV shows. I know there's a YouTube channel, Smosh, and one of them talks about groundlings all the time. But
It's
yeah.
it's it, Groundlings is specifically like a comedy conservatory,
Mhm.
and it was the first time where I was working on comedy specifically,
Hmm.
and you get a big laugh or whatever, and you go off, and then there's notes.
Hmm.
So it's not what they treat. There's a specificity and a focus on character, and making sure that it's coming from the right
Hmm.
place. I think at its best, it's like a really great place for mining like character work,
Hmm.
and I've seen incredible performances there, and I think it's been really helpful for me. Something I did there ended up ending being a short called Hunt Me,
Hmm.
which is about a woman in the Ozarks that's seducing her husband, and it doesn't work, but it's a comedy. um, but it came out from that. So at Groundlings, um, you get to get like a writing prompt or something like that, and during one of the things, I came up and I did this doctor character, and it was post really difficult
Hmm.
point of all this, right, of all the medical treatment stuff, and it just worked. And a woman named Phyllis Katz, she said this works,
Hmm.
and I thought about it. And then I was doing SAG after seminars, and SAG after seminars you can bring in your own scenes for casting directors, and I started being like, oh, what if I just bring in this? So I brought in that, and it was essentially doing it for 20 people. You know what I mean? It was
Hmm.
just like 20 people were in the room, and it worked. And they started to ask, did it go? Which was like, like, did
Hmm.
the pilot go? Because they thought it was a pilot. And I was like, okay, this works. And then there was another piece that I wrote, which was the receptionist, and I started to take that around. And then I performed it a little bit, and I was like, okay, these things work. And then I made it
Hmm.
into a pilot. And I was like, oh, maybe it's a pilot.
Hmm.
But then I had issues. Like, I was like, clearly, if I get this done, I want to be one of the characters. But
Hmm.
which one? Because I was very attached to all of them. And that's when it sort of dawned on me that it was a one person show.
Hmm.
And then this producer person was saying to me, like, it feels like a play. And then it just started to become a play. So it
Hmm.
really evolved pretty naturally. I think like the show is surreal and interactive. It's
Hmm.
like Mel Brooks, David Lynch, like
Hmm.
crazy stuff. People throw felt fruit.
Right.
There's like, where is this coming from? There's like, there's a chase, there's music from like the movie Speed. Like it's a wild
Hmm.
show. Um, but its framework really came out very naturally. So anyway.
Hmm. Obviously, you mentioned there it is a one-person production. So,
Yeah.
is being the only person on stage, does that add pressure to you?
Well, you know what I noticed? Because I've done some one person work,
Hmm.
mostly shorter intervals, but like I was on stage and there's that moment at the beginning. I wonder if other solo performers feel this, where the audience either is unsure what they're about to
Hmm.
see, they're off the street, whatever it was, but you can feel it. It's just, and you have to get over that hill. You have to be
Hmm.
like, they don't know what this is yet. They're not sure. It's not begun yet.
Hmm.
Like, and, and you have to like not rush it, not
Hmm.
push it, just be like present in you guys are gonna take a minute before you're gonna accept this world. And then and I think that is the most important thing, is like standing in yourself.
Mm,
And it really is a great confidence builder too. It's like,
mm,
they say this all the time at Groundlings. It's like, what do you think is funny?
mm,
And it doesn't, and you got to stand in it, because there's no chance you can share it if you're I don't know what the word is, but if you're just like worried
mm,
about what this audience is feeling. First of all, you're not in character and you're not in the performance if you're doing that.
mm,
But you're also interacting with the audience. So you have to be aware of the audience. You have to bring them in. So it's like, I think that's the most difficult part of the solo performance. There's no other actors to like bounce that
mm,
energy off of. And you have to really stand in everything about the show, especially when I've been workshopping it, because I'm
mm,
workshopping it and then you're like, oops, mistake. You know what I mean? I need to
mm,
correct that, but it's like I can stand in the show and, let it evolve into what it needs to be.
mm. I suppose that's sort of the checking in of and talking about the healthcare system is that moment where people go, right, that's where I am. This is what's going to happen. This is the sort of setting of the show, and that really
Yeah.
helps get the audience into that moment.
Yes. 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 I
Mm.
hear you. Yes.
So, despite being the only performer, you take on multiple characters in the show.
Yes.
So, how do you find switching between all those different roles?
There's something called a spine line that is also a vocab word that
Hmm.
I liked, that I really, it's basically like everybody's trying to screw you.
Hmm.
Like somebody's saying that everybody's trying to screw you. That's a really specific person with a really
Hmm.
specific point of view. And when that's there, and there's like a commitment to that person's point of view, it's
Hmm.
very easy to slip in and slip out. What I think is a little challenging is rehearsing with
Hmm.
the transitions, figuring out how the transitions feel for the audience. I know there's some really genius performances out there that really do a great job of gently transitioning between characters, and I think that's difficult.
Hmm.
Weirdly enough, when I'm in the characters, there's no worry. It's the switching between them and
Hmm.
the worry that the audience has to watch me.
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
just want and I want here's the thing. I'm doing a sort of a difficult subject
Yeah.
matter, and but it's very, very, very important to me that it's funny.
Hmm.
So when I talk about a certain aspect of it and it bums people out and you can feel it, it's sort of like that is more difficult
Hmm.
than the character. That's actually the easiest. Should never say any of this is easy. It's all a lot of work,
Yeah.
but that's there's so many other aspects of it
Hmm.
that are, I think, challenging.
Mm. And obviously, being the only performer taking on multiple characters, you aren't the only people involved in the show in terms of putting on the production because the audience are heavily involved. As you mentioned, there's audience participation, and stuff. So, what is it
Yeah,
like
it's an
interacting with an
ensemble.
audience where you don't know what they're going to say, how they're going to react? How have you found those sort of moments?
Somebody ate a bag of chips before the show even started, and I like this is like it was so shocking. I was like, do I work this in the show? But it hadn't started yet. So it's sort of like it was a real challenge, and I was like, get ready, Stacy, because that's gonna happen. It's
Mm,
gonna really happen. I think there's so many things. Like uh thankfully every time we do the workshop, and I'll have another one in about a week, like I learned something new.
mhm,
You really, 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 really have to be present.
mhm,
I think it's the most present you need to be as an actor. You should always be present, but like they can say anything to you and it may not go with what
mm.
you've filled in the slot. Like I literally asked an audience member, what's physically wrong with you? And that can go anywhere.
Mm,
And if you get hung up on what the previous audience member said and
mm,
have any expectation there, you're kind of screwed a little bit. So that's definitely part of it. I also want to mention that it's a one person show, but I feel like this has been an ensemble
Hmm.
production because we have a creative producer, Laura Clear, that's been a
Hmm.
huge part of it. Executive producer Brendan Gill, that's also been directing. Govind Kumar, who did development with the show. And then we have Gregory Kraft, who just did the lighting design
Hmm.
for it, and Caitlin Burke, who did sound design. And there's just it's been an army to do this one
Hmm.
person show, which is yeah. And honestly, every time and I think it sounds disingenuous, but every time I meet an audience member or I've had calls after some like feedback or like
Hmm.
talkbacks with like my friend Tom O'Keefe, like or Melissa Crespo, any of these people that talk to me on the phone for an hour, they are changing the show.
Hmm.
They are literally they will tell me something and the show will change.
Hmm.
Like everybody has in this team effort, like I get to be the, writer, creator,
Hmm.
star of the show, but it's a team effort and it really is an expression of like how people feel about
Hmm.
healthcare in general, but definitely the United States healthcare.
Yeah, totally. And obviously, you talked there about sort of the journey of the show and how it's built. But obviously,
Hmm.
the journey's been fantastic because you had a very exciting announcement fairly recently that you are heading to the Edinburgh Fringe, as we talked about earlier. So, what was it like getting
Yeah.
the announcement that you are heading to the one of the world's biggest theatre festivals?
I mean, it was a company with like a feeling of like there's so much to do.
Hmm.
And it's from press to travel to everything like that.
Hmm.
It's like so much to do. And part of me really knows that when I'm there, it's going to really hit me because
Hmm.
I've always wanted to go. I've
Hmm.
never been. I feel like I'm gonna meet so many people. I've met people that have been before that have been so wonderful to me already. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm very excited. It's
I've
just
heard people
like,
describe it as the Disneyland for theatre kids, and I think that should be on their marketing or a poster somewhere.
I did myself a huge favor where I'm there for 1 month.
Mm,
I mean, it runs for the full month,
yes.
but people do, and I'm very lucky that I'm able to do that. Like, I have the ability to do that. Some people will go for a smaller amount of time because
Hmm.
that's what they're able to do. But like there was a moment where I could have made that decision and I'm glad that I'm there. Like
Yeah.
I'm really there. So I'm gonna have that food and go up those hills, you know? It's
Yeah.
gonna be cool.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of walking, I've also heard. I've not been
Yeah.
either. This year's going to be my first year as well.
Oh,
But I have
really?
heard, yes, I know everyone is shocked, but yeah, I've never been before. So I'm really excited.
Wow.
But so from one first timer to another, how are you preparing? How are you getting ready for the Fringe?
You get to give me your tip. What are you doing? I've been so focused on the show.
Mm.
I've looked at my suitcase.
Hmm.
I think that the first thing I've started to do is follow Edinburgh. Well, first of all, learn how to pronounce it, which is Edinburgh. Is that what you do?
Edinburgh.
I'm gonna get into so much trouble.
It's okay. There's so many Americans who've said the
Just gonna
same
call it
thing, and I've
Eddie.
been fine with it. And then the other day, I was just scrolling on social media, and someone was like, "Can I just correct everyone on pronunciations?" And I was like, "Ooh, I didn't know that was
Ooh,
a."
whoa.
I know.
I'm sure I'm gonna get into trouble. I don't know. Well, I've been following accounts like, like
Yeah.
where to get good food, cheap food, or
Mm.
like where to go when you're there. Because I think I have a couple of Sundays off.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be able to like check some stuff out. So more like picking out stuff. But
Mm.
what are you doing? Tell me your.
So I've got spreadsheets.
Oh
I've
my
booked accommodation and flights months
God.
ago because I
Okay.
was like, I'm gonna do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, spreadsheets and communicating
Oh
with
my
people,
God.
chatting about what their advice, what their sort of places they've been, getting around. I'm not too sure how I'm actually traveling around the city yet, but that's we've got two
Where
weeks.
where are you staying close to like the Royal Mile?
No, I believe I'm about 30 minutes out
Okay.
from like the big four.
Okay.
places. Yeah, that
Okay.
doesn't mean a lot to me
That's still
either, but
good.
that was their thing. Yeah, about 30
I
minutes.
don't know what
So,
any of this means.
so in terms of the show, then, how are you preparing to take your show on that long journey from America to Scotland?
So we've already accommodated very minimalistic set
Mm,
pieces. There's like this doctor's curtain that's rigged that I
hmm
can disassemble. So I'll just pack that in the suitcase.
hmm
And then for the prop house, we've been using this specifically like black, um, what do you call it? Like, it's just a wheelie chair.
hmm
This is what I need to find out now is like whether I can purchase that at a prop house. And,
hmm
but I heard that you can. I heard that there's a lot of prop houses
Okay.
and so right now we're deciding about whether I'm going to bring that, like disassemble the
Yeah.
chair and bring it with me too, or if I'm just going to get it at the prop house. Um, we There's a great costume designer, and he is helping amp up my costume.
hmm
Um, and we're like currently working on that, like as of like I mean tomorrow. So there's clothing
Yeah.
things that are kind of changing right now.
Wow.
Um, I think I want to. Do you think I should pack like nuts, just like snacks? For some reason, I'm worried that I'm just like it's gonna be really hard to get like basic. You know, I
Mm.
feel like I'm just gonna. There's gonna be a pouch in my suitcase that's gonna be like nuts.
Yeah, just, yeah, just a little handbag of nuts. Why
Kind of,
not?
yeah.
I don't know whether
Just like,
getting the snacks will be the issue. I think that the queue in to get into the stores is going to be an issue. That's what I'm thinking more about because it's
oh,
such a big event. I think there's going to be thousands of people everywhere. But
what I
yeah,
hear
why
is that
not bring
it's
a
not
handbag of
just the theater
snacks?
festival. Have you heard
Hmm?
this? It's not just the theater festival. There's the film festival going on too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At some point,
Uh,
oh, don't
okay.
quote me though. That's what somebody told me. I never look at this is a problem. When somebody tells me something, I'm just like, that's the fact. I never like go onto my computer and take 2 seconds and I'm like, is that happening? So that could be happening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we are coming to the end of my questions, but I do have a
Okay.
couple more. I know
Mhm.
we have talked about, and I'm going to get right this time, Citizen Otherplace. So how would you
Yes.
describe it to someone who's never seen the show before?
Okay. Citizen Other Place is about the hell that is the medical
Hmm
debt hunting in the United States of America. And it's told through the perspective of one patient who's being hunted down by a guy named Mike, who is
hmm
a medical debt hunter. And it's funny. I promise it's funny. And it's a combination of, it's like Mel Brooks meets David Lynch
hmm
meets like, dry comedy as
Yeah.
well. Like, so it's all those things. It's very interactive.
hmm
It's wild. You may get to throw something as an audience member.
Nice.
You probably will. And yeah, that's the show.
And if people are interested, where can they get tickets and where can they stay up to date with you?
So they can okay, so they can just go on they can literally just Google Citizen Other Place
Hmm
Edinburgh girl. Go.
Edinburgh.
Yes, thank you. They could
We'll just
just
dub
do
it
that.
in.
Now I'm very nervous about saying it correctly. We just call it Eddie, but they have to spell it out. EDINBURGH. They're just
I
gonna have
think
to
so. Yeah,
write
yeah.
Citizen Other Place. That. And it will be listed. You can also follow me at I love Stacy Price or at Citizen Other Place
hmm
on Instagram. And yeah, it's looking pretty Googleable now.
hmm
So and it will continue to be so. But it's going to be at 1345
hmm
at Pickle Theater, at Riddles Court, and it runs August 7th through the 29th.
Oh, fantastic. I'll put all the links in the comments below so people can scroll down and click
Thank
away.
you.
But my final question is,
Thanks.
what advice do you have for young creatives looking to do what you do?
Put yourself out there
Hmm
as much as you can and come with love. I think that's the biggest thing. Come with love. Come as the best cheerleader
hmm
as you can and be genuine about it. I think everybody wants somebody to be present that likes what they're doing,
hmm
and and despite what you think about needing to have an ego and to needing to be confident, you still need to show up ready to learn.
Mm. And as we said earlier, be prepared to fail. That is going to
Yes,
happen.
yes. I
So that
failed
is all
so
my
many times.
questions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for finding the time to sit down and chat with me. As I said, I'll put all the links in the comments below so people can scroll down and click
Mhm.
away. I obviously wish you the best of luck at the Edinburgh Fringe, and I shall speak to you soon.